All right, let's bring in Matt Fraser. Matt, I know you're joining us, mid-training session day. So thanks for taking the time. And how's it going?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Things are good. Life's kind of in that stage where it's really boring. Life on repeat is just eat, sleep, train, and then do it all over again. So, yeah, things are simple on this end.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting close. So we were talking a little bit before, starting to kind of ease off the gas maybe a little bit and make sure the body and everything is ready.
Yeah, I know Shane has a different definition of tapering back than T and I. We'll see what the taper what he means by it. But yeah, I think in his mind, we're going to start tapering a bit. The last couple of days have just been full throttle, full weight, huge volume. Having like a half rest day today is big.
And kind of touching on that training and like the full throttle and everything, you often hear like athletes say that they actually maybe enjoy or have a little bit more fun with that training, like right before the games compared to like regionals or maybe even stage 2 here, because you get to do some like different stuff than you typically do, I guess. Is that the case for you guys? It seems like you do mix in a little bit of that throughout the year though.
Yeah, I'd say, the location of training might be, kind of off site a little more often. Mm-hmm. But for us, it's not really changing too much, like the trail runs, the mountain biking, road biking, any of that type of stuff. It's, we are training for the games year round. It's not just, all right, 2 weeks before the games, let's start doing trail runs. No, we're doing that stuff year round. So yeah, the volume gets ramped up a little bit, the weight gets amped up a little bit more, but yeah, for the most part, it's just training as usual.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything that maybe you and Tia kind of add in? I know you guys train year round for the games, but like I feel like maybe at any competition, once you know that like the next step is the big step or the last step, just maybe there's a switch flip or maybe something just kind of there's that little extra kind of spice factor going in. I'm just kind of curious if you guys feel that.
For me, not really. The goal year round is the game. So I'm training for the games year round, games-esque style workouts. So nothing really changes.
Cool. And so kind of circling back a little bit, because we obviously had a stage 1 situation. They broke it up into 2 parts. I want to talk about it a little bit. So you win stage 1. What was kind of the experience like, at least in that format, and getting to compete, alongside Tia, in a similar training environment, but with a slightly different twist to what normally the games look like?
Yeah, it was, I thought they did a great job with what they had to work with. There were some kinks that, that happened with online competitions that, they did a great job with working out. And I hope in some form they move that kind of those same regulations into the open, if they can. I don't know if it's applicable with that big of a, competition field. But, just something as simple as, giving a layout for where you have to set up equipment. Because I've done open workouts where, I do my score, or I do my workout and I have my score and I'm like, all right, I couldn't have gone any faster. I couldn't speed up my cycle rate. I couldn't pull more calories on whatever it was. And then I, talking to like Vellner, Fikowski, and I remember one workout, it's like I got 13 rounds and they got 14. And I'm like, oh my God, how did you get a full round more than me?
Yeah.
And one of them showed me a picture of their setup. And it was like, I think it was toe to bar rowing, maybe something with a dumbbell.
Was it that like split, like one arm?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I had each piece of equipment maybe 5 feet apart from each other, just in a triangle. And they had theirs like on top of each other, where it's like you're almost hitting your dumbbell on your toe to bar, your rowers underneath the bar. And I, in my head, I'm like, I don't think that can make up that big of a gap. Sure enough, did the workout again. And I held the same numbers on the rower. I have one speed on toe to bar, and 1 speed on whatever the dumbbell cycling was. And I got a complete round more.
Wow.
And so it's like, over a 20-minute AMRAP or however long it was with that many transitions, if you gain 1 second at each spot, it makes a difference. So I really like the fact that they gave like a standardized setup. So I thought that was really cool. I like that they dictated, okay, you have to do them in this order. You can only do them once, and you have to do them in this time window. And it was all based on local time. So I thought that was great. So the competition went really smoothly. We lucked out. We had great judges that they were easy going, fun to hang out with in between events. So just the atmosphere was really good. And it was super interesting not knowing what times other people were putting up, T and I, we would see each other do the workout, if the other person went first. So we had a good idea of like, okay, if she's cycling it like this is how I should cycle it. But it really didn't affect too much. So that was really interesting of like, you don't have that motivation of someone right in front of you. You're trying to chase them down, or, you see that you're in the lead by a couple seconds so you can throttle back. It was really just, okay, let's see what I'm capable of. It's, you're racing yourself at that point.
It feels like, you try to emulate that in training every day, but like, it feels, and I've talked to some other people that say like, that was a slightly different game day feel or a slightly different like nerve feel because you don't have that person next to you. So you kind of have to empty the tank with a slightly different implication, I guess, than normally in training, because like, training, you can fall back on some things, but like you're going to push yourself in a way that doesn't always get replicated in training, I guess.
Yeah. I know for myself, I have a very hard time pushing myself to the level that I do in competition. Mm-hmm. I have a very hard time replicating that in training. So, even when in the past, like workouts will get released ahead of time and I'll do them in training, and then I'll see what other people are doing. I'm like, oh my God, they're beating me by like a minute on a 6-minute workout. And then I show up to competition. I shave like two minutes off my time and their time stays relatively the same. It's been like that my whole career. I have a very hard time replicating competition in training when I'm by myself. It's, I think I'm listening to the alarms in my body when they're flashing of like, yo, slow down. This doesn't feel good. In training, I usually listen to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so kind of with that in mind, is there any workouts in particular you look back on? You're like, man, I'm like really proud of that. Like beyond just the effort, but like maybe I didn't think I had that in me, or that was kind of cool, or that exceeded expectation.
Yeah. The workout with the GHDs, I was really, really happy with that. I was happy that I was able to just stay consistent through the GHDs. Sorry, I got some update.
Oh.
Yeah, I was able to stay consistent on the GHDs. I was really happy with the power cleans. Being able to, usually I think 275 in years past, probably, I don't know if I'd be able to cycle the power cleans that quickly. I would hope I wouldn't have to go into a squat clean, but I wouldn't have been surprised if I had to go into a squat. So I was really happy with that. The 1K row, I was doing backflips over that. Because last time I did a 1K time trial was back in 2016 for the Dubai qualifier. And my goal was to break 3 minutes back then. And I remember I sold my soul to get that. Just after I was 400 meters in, and I just realized I have to close my eyes. Like, I can't look at this. And I remember during that, like, my pull was limited. I thought I was going to lose the handle in like the last 200 meters. Like, my hands were going to let go. And I finished that, and I was just a puddle, like on my back, spinning for like 8 minutes. And so that was the last memory I had of doing a 1K time trial. So going into this, I was okay, I know I'm fitter than I was then. but like how much fitter, how much difference it's going to be. And so I think I PR'd my 1K by like 3 or 4 seconds. But then looking back at it, it's like, I think I had too terrible of a memory of a 1K, and that limited me a little bit. I probably should have, in my middle section of the row, I should have like tried to keep the pace a little bit lower. But yeah, that was just doing backflips over that, because you see the guys that did well in it, they're all 6 foot plus. They're all big boys, and I'm 5'6". I weighed in at 190, 192, I think it was. So to be able to pull, I think I was 255 or something like that. Very proud of that. Yeah.
Because you kind of mentioned that, like, very similar with the front squat. It's not like something, a test that you get to do very often, I guess. Like, you don't test the 1 rep max front squat very often. You maybe don't test a 1K row. It's normally mixed in another element. So the PR on the front squat was kind of cool too. Do you feel like you kind of got some juice from that, and maybe kind of feeds off of when you hit a big lift like that?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely through the roof on that. Once again, like, I didn't win the event. I think I got 4th or 5th. But there's going to be the outliers. It's the same as on a 1K row. Like, there's going to be someone that, like, that's just a home run hit for them. It's like, you can't compare yourself to them, So the front squat, it's like, was it Griffin or Griffith?
Griffin, yeah.
Yeah, Griffin, 490. Phenomenal. Like, pound your chest to that. That's crazy. But he's not who I'm comparing myself against, especially on a single modality 1 rep. It's to PR by 20 plus pounds on a lift that, I hit one time this year. I front squatted 365, and before that, my heaviest front squat was 315. So to see a PR come off that, it's just like, okay, cool. I'm moving in the right direction.
Yeah. In the Buttery Bros video, it showed where you almost passed out from the.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did that happen before or after the lift, the biggest lift?
Oh, that was way before. That was like my first or second attempt.
Oh wow.
So like, I think I worked up to like 365, and then we started the clock, the 20-minute clock, and I think I may have done one more at 365 just to like get something on paper. And then I think I jumped to 385 or 395, whichever one it was. And I'm still like, I know I'm going to make the lift type thing. So I think I just kind of went into it, took it for granted a little bit, and just racked it a little bit too quickly and aggressively, and it caught my throat. And it was already out of the rack, and I had already started the squat by the time I realized, like, this isn't going to end well. And so from the bottom of the hole, I don't remember anything after that. And like, I knew what was happening, I'm not panicking, but yeah, the body starts convulsing, your vision comes in, and voices start sounding like robots. And I remember just kind of like, okay, get a hand on the ground so I don't hurt myself. And body's kind of twitching. And then it just comes back. It's like a light switch. As soon as it comes back, you're just perfectly fine. And I remember looking at my judge and, did I make it? And he was like, yeah. I was like, all right, cool. Let's load it back up and go for more. So then all the lifts after that felt great. But yeah, it's just that one. And it was just really funny because I don't think Sammy's ever seen me do that.
Oh, okay.
And she was sitting like right off to the side, and she is just like full panic mode. And Tia went over and just kind of put her hand on her shoulder. It's like, hey, it's okay. Like, this happens sometimes. He's perfectly fine. And yeah, so after the event, Sammy's like just water in her eyes of just like, I didn't know what was happening, and I didn't know how I could help. And it's like, no, it's okay, sweetheart. That happens sometimes.
Oh man, yeah. If you've never seen someone like kind of get choked out or like lose that, like, it can be. It can be terrifying, man. I'm curious about the handstand hold. That was kind of a weird. I don't want to say weird, but it was a different type of event, maybe someone that
Yeah.
like very few people might have experience at all, unless you maybe did it at a local comp or something like that. I'm curious what this, maybe what the strategy was, and maybe what, since you didn't get to see the results right away, like how you felt kind of coming off of that initially.
Yeah. The only time I'd ever seen that before was, I mean, this is way back, going back to Granite Games. Like, I think the last time I competed there was like 2015, maybe.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And so it was a chipper workout, and 90 seconds before the workout, everyone had like this little square, and I think you had one attempt maybe to kick up into a handstand hold, and whatever time you got on your handstand hold got subtracted from your chipper time.
Huh.
So it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think I got much time taken off my chipper workout. So when that workout got announced, I remember thinking like, okay, like the 4 foot by 4 foot box, I thought was a great size because it's a handstand hold, not a handstand walk, So the Dubai qualifier a couple of years ago, it was a 1K row into a max handstand hold in a 15-minute window. And it was just as long as you stayed on your hands, so like you back the camera up as far as you could, and you're trying to hold, but you're just walking around for like a minute plus. So I thought the 4x4 box allowed enough room that it's still a handstand hold, but there's a little room for error. It's not just like, oh, if you move your hand to catch yourself a tiny bit, you're out. And then I thought it was really cool that it was a 20-minute window. Take as many attempts as you want. So going into it, I felt very little pressure because, it's like, all right, if I screw up once, twice, you got a handful of attempts at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was shocking, the muscular fatigue that came from it. I thought for 20 minutes, it's going to be kick up into a handstand hold as long as you can. Then you'll just kick down, shake, kick back up, do it again for an entire 20 minutes. It was after like probably 3 or 4 attempts. It was like, oh my God, like it's not that I'm just going off balance. It's like my arms are trembling. Wow. And just giving out, and you're starting to lose coordination in your hands when you're trying to catch yourself. You're overcorrecting and all that. So I thought it was a really cool test because I'm sure there are very few people that have tried a max stationary handstand hold. So I thought that was a very, very cool test. Should it have been 50 point, 100 point? I think that's debatable. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a great test, really unique. There's obviously going to be some of those people the ex-gymnasts that just smash it out of the park, and there's going to be some people that like, exactly, wow. Yeah. Like Katrin holding the handstand hold for 3 minutes, I think is almost equivalent to Griffin front squatting 490. It's just like they're so far and above everyone else in that one thing. But yeah, impressive nonetheless.
Yeah. I was watching back the Buttery Bros video on you guys in like stage 1, which was awesome. And one of the things that stood out is like towards the end when you're watching the update show, I think it was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like you got to watch that last like announcement special almost as a little bit of a fan too. Your spot was pretty much secure, and then they're one by one revealing the people that are making it, and you're getting to watch and enjoy. Was that fun to kind of watch and see that show? And did any of the athletes kind of surprise you that ended up making the top 5?
Yeah, yes, on both accounts. I thought it was really cool that they have the footage from each person. And the other thing I really liked was that because the setups were uniform in every gym, and we were told where to put the camera. So it's not going to be exact. Mm-hmm. People have different lenses. So some are fisheye, some are not. But yeah, it just makes it a lot better on screen watching it when you see 2 side by side and they're the same setup, same angle, everything. So I thought that looked great when they started comparing the workouts. And I thought it was really cool. kind of being in that position where, you know, kind of thinking like, okay, as long as I give my best effort on this last one, my spot is secure. I actually think going into that last workout, my spot was guaranteed because I had a 99-point lead, and I think there wasn't a 0-point position. The lowest you go is 1 point. So I was like, okay, I'm in. That's cool. I was really surprised by who were the two, Jeffrey Adler and Chandler. I don't know why. Like, I think it's probably just looking at Chandler. Like, you see how brute strong he is. He is an absolute silverback when it comes to just raw strength. It's like, I saw a video of him, what was it, like deadlift 500 for a set of 10?
Oh yeah. Tell me, just
how does that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, and not only how does that happen, but like, how does that happen out of a guy your size? You know? And then like, you just see like his abs are just look like bricks. So you're like, okay, like it's heavy power cleans and GHDs. Like, you're built for and his wingspan is bananas. So I'm like, you don't have to break parallel on your GHDs. Just like reach back and touch the ground, you know, like you don't have to move your torso. And I think he was 2 points ahead of Adler.
Yeah.
Going into that. I mean, barely. It was so close. Yeah. So I just thought Chandler would smash that last workout. You know, obviously Adler, you know, heavy barbell specialist. So, I mean, seeing that he did really well in that workout, it wasn't a surprise. I just thought I was expecting Chandler to blow it out. And I remember in that episode when they showed the top 5, and I was like, Adler made it. I got some messages of like from, I think they must have been Adler's family or friends. And they're like, don't really know how to take this response. I was like, take it only as a compliment. Like, he needed that clutch performance, and he did it. You know, he did what he needed to do. Yeah, I mean, after that, you know, Noah in second, and then Medeiros, Samuel Quant. Yeah, I was surprised by Samuel Quant. You know, and looking at his results, it's like, I don't think he had any home run hits, but the big thing was he didn't have any bottom finishes. So, you know, just smooth, consistent right across the board. You know, obviously, I think I was really surprised to not see Vellner and BKG up in the top 5. I thought for sure they would, you know, crush it. You know, some of the workouts, you know, like Friendly Fran, you know, those guys, their legs are a little bit longer, but you know, stuff like the 1K row stuff. I thought there was going to be enough other workouts. You know, the GHD workout, the workout that we had to do the running with. Yeah, I was really surprised to not see Vellner and BK up in the top 5.
Yeah, something seemed a little off that weekend for sure. But
yeah, I know after the fact, like, so Vellner and I were talking, you know, either that night or the next day, and you know, he just said, hey, congrats, you know, and we're just kind of shooting the shit, and I was finally like, all right, dude, I gotta ask, like, what happened?
Yeah,
because like, your performance was not what any of us were expecting. And he was just like, oh yeah, like, I'm not surprised by it at all. Like, he tore his adductor. So he's like, I haven't squatted in weeks. You know, I haven't been able to train well. And then he said he broke his toe the week prior. So it's like, damn it, man. Like, why do you do these things? You know, be less clumsy.
Man.
Yeah. And then, you know, I haven't talked to BK in depth. You know, we shot some messages back and forth. Yeah. So, I mean, with those guys, like Vellner, it's like, okay, you know, an injury like that. Yeah. There's a good amount of squatting. And if your training is compromised for weeks leading up, yeah, it's I
It's
don't know,
tough.
just sucks.
Yeah.
Just sucks. It's part of the game, I guess. You know?
Yeah. No, it is. Some days you fall off the cargo net and you're all right, and other days you tear an adductor, you know?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, damn.
Yep. So now things are moving to the ranch, and you got to compete there in 2016 for that day when they flew everyone down. Is there anything that you're excited about getting to go back to the ranch to compete again, or maybe it's the environment of just being there with 5 people head to head? Is there anything you're looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to a good competition. I think I'm hoping that with the limited time, there wasn't like the full year of planning, year of testing. I kind of hope it reflects back to like just a general test of fitness. But I mean, who knows? I mean, we've been training for anything and everything. I think the fact that there's only 5 competitors, it's going to be interesting. We'll see how that one plays out. But yeah, I mean, the fact that the location has changed, the spectators have changed, all that stuff, I really couldn't care. When the game switched from California to Wisconsin, and you had some people that loved it, some people that hated it, but it's like, all right, you tell me where to compete and I'll be there. It's like early on in my career, I competed as much as possible, and I bounced around the country and don't care about the venue. It's like we're all competing at the same venue.
Yeah.
So what difference does it make? Yeah, I think some venues may be more enjoyable than others, but I'm not going there to enjoy my time. I'm going there to compete and try to win.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's at the ranch. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, one of the hallmarks of the ranch is the hillside and like the hill runs and stuff like that. You got to run. It's hard to explain to a lot of people who've never been there. I got to run there. Unfortunately had to run that hill every day in my first year of CrossFit. What was running the hill and that experience like for you, like as far as a stimulus and type of workout?
Yeah, I mean, there's it's kind of like we do hill sprints in training. I've done them. There's nothing that'll kick your ass better than a hill sprint. And so there's 2 types of people. Like you say, like, oh yeah, I just did some hill sprints, and the other person, oh yeah, I did them too. And it's like, no, you didn't. Like, you ran up a hill, but like you throttled back your speed. Like you came out hot for that first 20 meters, but then when it just keeps getting steeper and steeper, yeah, workouts like that with like a hill like that, during it, it's like, yeah, it hurts a little bit, but the worst part is after you're done. The pain keeps getting worse after you finish. And so, I mean, you're sitting on the ground, rolling around, trying to find that comfortable position. It's like, you might as well get up and walk because you're not going to find a comfortable position. Yeah, so I think it's just getting ready. I'm sure we'll run that hill a couple times.
Yeah.
So just getting ready for a lot of discomfort.
Yeah. I mean, that hill's got some significance for you. I mean, that was the first workout in the run at the top once you won your first title in 2016. And I think that event, and, just talking from a fan's perspective, that was a huge wake up event, because I remember the coverage of it was kind of like spotty on the cell phone. And it was Jonathan Haynes who I think was filming, and then they didn't see you run by in first. And then you saw Josh Bridges come by, and like everyone's like, oh, Bridges passed Fraser. And then you came down the other side of it, and they're like, oh, nope, Matt's just that far ahead of everyone. Yeah. And I think it was like the big wake up call, like, oh no, like Matt won the trail run. He's out there like kind of.
Oh yeah. I loved listening to the commentary on that event, because Rory's like, yep. Fraser went out too hot. Of course, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you just weren't paying attention.
Yeah. I'll never forget it, because the camera turned and you were already like on the other side coming back, and everyone's like, oh, crap. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like run like that, like 7K run, the full trail run. I loved it. It's I'll take a trail run over a track or road run any day of the week.
Yeah.
Purely just out of an entertainment standpoint. It's, you have scenery. You're not looking straight ahead and it's like 400 meters of just flat, and you're like, all right, pay attention to my breathing, keep a good cadence. It's like when you're doing a trail run, you're looking like 3-4 feet ahead of you, and you're like, rock, stick, all right, jump. Now, like, it's just your mind is occupied the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's able to distract you from the fact that your lungs are just on fire. Yeah, so I just think it's a lot more entertaining. I think it looks cooler on camera for the people recording it. Yeah, I think it's more fun too. Like if you're behind someone trying to, like, all right, where is my attack point? Being behind them and watching, like, all right, they don't attack hills very well. So it's like, all right, at this next hill when they throttle back, I'm going to jump around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just stuff like that. It's just more entertaining.
Yeah, and there's a little gamesmanship there. You can map it out. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like recovery, you're talking about how focus a little bit more on the recovery. You had a post the other day that was actually pretty funny about the boots and brats when you're laid up in the boots and the what's like, especially as you're dialing in training more, like what's like your go-to like recovery, entertainment, and like food thing right now? I know Sammy's always making stuff, but like you got a show or something you throw on, or
so it doesn't change like throughout the year of if I'm training for the open, regionals, games, or sanctionals, RIP regionals. In my backyard I have an ice bath and a sauna, so that gets hit up on a regular basis. Like my training may be done for the day, but it's like, all right, now I got a couple hours of stuff that's going to help me for training the next day. So doing the contrast between the hot and cold, coming in, sitting down with a Theragun, rolling out, getting out the massage table. Sammy's a trooper and digging her thumbs in wherever I can't reach. But yeah, when I finally like kick my feet up and it's like I'm turning off for the night, I mean, the food, I don't usually eat the same thing twice. I mean, Sammy has a good rotation going. Yeah. Especially the fact that she just finished writing her cookbook. So for the last couple months, it's been like 3 or 4 different dishes every day that she's cooking. So it's just like I have a buffet of stuff to pick from. The show that we just cranked through, and I'm like, how have I never heard of this show, was the Righteous Gemstones.
Oh yeah. Oh, I just finished that too.
I had never heard of this show before, and it was amazing.
Oh,
absolute knockout of the park cast, hilarious content. Like it was just, and it was I think it was Marston.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, you need to watch this show, and I'm like, if it's a show that I've never even heard of before, like. Yeah, people, you need to watch The Walking Dead. It's like, okay, I've heard of it. You're a fan. I get it.
Yeah.
Even when I started watching, I'm like, how have I never seen a preview for this show before? It's phenomenal. Yeah, The Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah, it's funny. Tiffany and I just finished watching it like maybe 3 weeks ago. So
yeah,
it's hilarious.
Well, I think it was the night after phase 1 of the games. And I was like, all right, I got like 2 nights, 3 nights of just staying up, eating whatever I want, all that. And Marston was like, you need to watch this show. I mean, I think I cranked through like 6 or 7 episodes that night. I'm like, all right, this is my life.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, right on, man. Well, thanks for taking the time to chat a little bit. I know you guys are getting dialed in. You'll be coming out this way pretty soon. Hope training goes well. Hope recovery goes well. I'm looking forward to seeing you step out into the ranch.
Awesome. Thanks, man.